Welcome to the top M&A Entrepreneurs. Today, my guest is Christine McDaniel. Christine has started 10 companies, bought, sold, acquired 10 companies, and just launched a broker intermediary site last year and has sold 5 businesses on it. So pretty impressive record there. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. Yeah, the 5 was just in the month of December, which is crazy.
That's crazy.
So we've done a lot. Yeah, we did 10. So average of 10 transactions in 10 months. And it's been a fun ride. So I love it. I love everything about business.
Yeah. So let's kind of rewind and talk about how you got here. Starting businesses, I've done that too, but that's not really what the show is about. It's more about unless you've acquired a business or those startups. So let's talk about a little bit of when you acquired a business. Was it tuck-in? Was it brand new? What was it?
Yeah. My first company was Cleanology, which is a house cleaning company here in San Diego. And that was back, now I'm dating myself, 2003, I started it. And I rolled in 2 cleaning companies over the years because we were doing such a limited, tight, area of downtown. And then I acquired a company that did the whole county. And then another little one. So, and then my wellness spa I had in 2012, to 2017, I did 3 roll-ups into that one. Small, one was bigger, one was smaller. I got incredible deals because a lot of times these owners are just burned out and over it. And then I picked up 2 spas during COVID, one for free, which is unbelievable. So one at a very cheap price. And again, I think that there's wartime generals and there's peacetime generals, and I'm a wartime general. I like the bad times. I think that's where I've made the most money, is having these companies during bad times. And then I flipped both the spas like in 2021. I knew eventually COVID would end, right?
Yeah. Well, what about those cleaning companies when you started out? Was that, you're talking about cleaning offices or homes or what?
Residential. You're looking at the girl that was cleaning every single day for the first year and a half. And with a couple women that spoke Spanish, and I didn't know Spanish. They didn't know English. It was fun. And I bartended at night. So it was definitely a bootstrap, $300 they started with. I was like 23 at the time.
You're kicking ass. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And was that a company you started or you bought? And how big was it?
Yeah, I started that one from scratch with $300. And then we became the largest privately owned right before I sold 5 years later. I exited that. But on those roll-ups, it's ironic because I was almost the mafia in downtown San Diego. I would see flyers of other cleaning companies. I would call them up and say, hey, look, can you stay out of downtown? And in return, I'll give you all my leads from the rest of the county because we're only downtown. And I became buddies and friends, and they laughed. They go, okay, cool, we'll do that. And it worked. And then that guy, I acquired his company like a year or 2 later. So all those referrals I gave him, I technically got back.
Yeah.
We rolled the team in, the manager didn't work out. It's because it's always an integration on an acquisition, right? That's usually the complicated part.
What kind of financing stack did you acquire that? Was it just a tuck in or just buying? Or
That's a great question. It wasn't too much. It was $40K. He wanted 100. I got him down to 40 because I love to negotiate. I think I did we didn't have I probably did an Axion microloan, or I did SBA. Can't remember. Yeah.
That's pretty small. Yeah, that's pretty small. And
yeah.
Did he stay with it or did he take off, leave?
No. He was done. Yeah. No, he was having major health issues. So he needed to unload it quick. So it worked out. But yeah, that's how you grow the fastest, right? You just grab market share so quickly.
Right.
That way. And it worked out really well.
Did that second tuck in same thing, or what would that look like?
Yeah, that was a way smaller one. And I actually paid. So another way, there's so many ways to do these deals. That's what makes them fun. We paid her off per cleaning for the first year or 2. So like all her clients that actually came in, stayed with us, we paid, I forget how much per client that transitioned over. So it was a win-win for me. Yeah, both of us, because I think she was going to walk, right, and just shut the doors. So I always want the client list.
Yeah.
If I know a business is going to shut down, I'm like, no, just give me the client list, give me equipment, whatever you have. It breaks my heart to see businesses shut down, right? There's value. There's always some sort of value.
Yeah. When you took over, was there a pretty big transition between, hey, I'm the new owner, or did they not care, or, your customers?
No. Everybody was great. I mean, we had an impeccable reputation. So we did a great letter, introducing ourselves. And so that integration with clients is always really easy for us because usually, we're kind of, they're moving up as far. It's the prices though, because our prices are high. I'm always charging a premium in my companies. So sometimes I think we had to adjust for that. Right. So we probably had to grandfather them in on their cheaper rates. Just to make them stick. And so, yeah.
How big were you when you sold it? You had 2 acquisitions and.
Yeah. So we were still, again, I was still in my 20s. So I think what rev? We were right under $1 million. I was trying so hard to hit the $1 million number. And so we didn't hit it. I forget what the EBITDA was on the bottom or the SDE on the exit. I can't, it was so long. That was 2010. That's 12 years ago and lots of companies ago.
Did you sell that through a broker site?
I used an actual broker. Again, I didn't know how to sell a company back then. And just speaking with them and they were condescending. It was so hard to find a good one. I ended up with a decent one. And then that was the only time I used a broker. So all my transactions, I just took that same purchase agreement and ran it through every exit I've done, even larger ones where my mentors were like, you need a broker. You need I would have lost like $240K on one of my the spa exit because it was because it was 580 cash. These brokers were telling me you'll never get more than like 410, I think they were saying. And I sold it all cash within 5 weeks flat. Which is great. And then of course I had to call and tell them that. Hey guys, I mean, I had $140,000 worth of credit, gift cards and prepaids on my books, right? And not the money sitting in account. So then I made a deal with the buyers. Hey, 60% of our gift cards actually ever get redeemed. You could see it in the computer. You could look at the history. How about we settle, and I give you that. Where we put it in an escrow account and you pull from that. And then if there's any left over, we split it. And they used it all perfectly up. So.
Did you when you sold that cleaning company, did you like that process? I mean, this is going to come full circle because a few years down the road, you're a broker yourself.
Yeah.
Well, so what was that process? You got a cleaning company. It's under $1 million. I'm pretty sure the numbers on that are consistent from city to city, or did you were on the higher side?
For my purchase price?
Yeah.
I was on a higher, what was that multiple? Because for service, you're getting like 2 to 3 typically. And I can't remember on the multiple on that one. I know my spa one, because that one was crazy high. So on the cleaning company, the experience with the broker, again, I had a decent one. I don't feel like he underpriced it. I do feel like we got an offer that was too low, and he was kind of like, I'm going to fax it over to you. This is how long ago it was. Like, okay, we're faxing it over. I said, and he told it to me on the phone. I said, decline it. Don't even fax it to me. Like, I'm not, so again, sometimes it's unfortunate, but a broker, once the deal's done quickly, and a $50,000 difference in my purchase price is only a $5,000 difference on his commission, right?
Yeah.
So I had to stay strong on my asking price, which I did. And that guy ended up buying my business, right?
Did you have any reason to sell, or you just tired, burnt out from it and wanted to sell?
I love the chaos of the startup world and creating something from scratch. I just get these ideas of stuff that needs to, be innovated. Like that was cleaning back then was like, nobody would answer the phone. People didn't speak English. People wouldn't let your dogs be at home. And I love pets. So our girls would like bring treats. And I'd always tell my clients, no, your dogs are fine. Don't worry. So we just like really leveled up. So yeah, that's the part I like.
So you got your sale in. Was that the first big sale ever? And you're just like, wow, this is fantastic. I hit my bank account. And
yeah, that one was $250,000. In your 20s, when it's $250,000 cash in your account, you're excited. Back then, again, now it's not that much money, but yeah. It's nice. I had 37 employees, so you have that weight off your shoulders, right? Because it was such responsibility to keep them busy and a paycheck and all that. That's during so keep in mind that was 2008. So I started in 2003. So we went through 2008 and we actually grew 10% during the recession because we just kind of shifted our focus from, people in their vacation homes that they were selling or getting taken away to women, to husband and wives that the wife had to go back to work, making maybe a salary of 5K, 10K. So they're going to pay us to clean their house, right? Because they're not home and she's working. So that was a justification. So that we shifted really quick to that. And that was a good idea. And so it was easier to sell too, because, and again, we sold in 2010 and it's still, we weren't all the way out of the recession. We were still in it. And we sold it because of those reasons. We were growing every year.
Yeah. I ran across a business. I got a client that's in the cleaning business in the San Francisco area. And we ran across a business that's cleans for Airbnbs, and it's really good revenue, reoccurring revenue.
Oh yeah. And it's reoccurring. It'd be daily, every 3 days, weekly. It's very often. Yeah. That is great money.
Yeah. So this wellness center, how did you come about that? Why did you get into that? And talk about that growth.
Yeah. So that was the next one. So I knew nothing about wellness. I couldn't even spell the word esthetician. That's what's ironic. And we built out in Mission Valley, massage and facials and saunas and all these really cool wellness things. Again, 2012. That was 2012. And wellness wasn't as hip as it is now. So luckily we timed it right. And colonics, which is colon hydrotherapy, that was kind of my main focus. I was like, why can't, it's always in a clinical setting, that service.
What is that? I'm sorry.
I don't know. People can Google it. It's probably hard to explain on this show. But it's just a way of detoxing your, most people know it. But it's, that could be done in a spa setting. Like I knew it could be. So that's kind of what we built the spa around. We were 5 stars on every, on Yelp, and we just had so many reviews, and we had an amazing team. And that was about 35, 37 employees when I sold it. We had opened a second location only 2 years later. The first location we expanded because our neighbor moved out. I mean, that was like hyper growth craziness, but fun the whole time. I had it for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then I did the transaction.
Acquired 3 businesses under that?
Yes.
Yeah. What were those? Are competing businesses or ancillary type businesses? What did that look like?
Direct competitors. So again, one was real small. So I don't know the details on that one. The second one, she did colon hydrotherapy. She had her own center, small, and she was miserable. You could tell the way she talked to me. She came into my spa and kind of was venting and like hated her company essentially. I'm like, Tracy, I'll buy your company right now. And she was like, wait, what? She was so taken aback. And it was like a week before Christmas. And I'm like, I will. And she's like, just like that? I'm like, yeah, just let me know. And she's like, well, no, I'm not ready. And then like a couple of days later, she circled back around. And again, that was a really great deal. Her client list, she was self-employed owner operator. So I just took her clients and her equipment. So that was a really good one. And then I think I paid her up front or payments. The third one was incredible. I opened the second location. It turned out somebody down the street really knew about us and freaked out knowing we were coming in right down the street. And so she called and said, hey, I have a sauna. I'm closing down. I have a sauna for sale. Do you guys want to buy it? And I'm shutting down. And I literally got on the phone. I was like, it was an email. And I said, I will buy your whole company. Again, you just have to grab these opportunities because, if you look at BizBuySell, if you look at the listing sites, those people usually price high. But if it's a desperate seller that's burned out, that's usually about to shut their doors, that's where you get the deal. She came in as my manager. Her whole team came in. They were great. She came in as my manager. She just didn't want the stress of owning business anymore. And she's a single mom. And then to this day, she's still there. So she's been there for 8 years now. She's still their manager. It's so funny. And we were so close and worked so well together. But I made payments to her, tiny payments. So the revenue I was generating, the net income from rolling her in, like was 10x my payment to her. So yeah.
And what was your negotiating style with that? Is it like because you didn't have the cash or had the cash and didn't want to use it, or just like, hey, it's better for you because it's better on taxes, or what?
Yeah, great question. And that one was an insane deal because I got her equipment and everything. I think it was like 17 grand I paid for everything. It was nothing. We had the capital, but I don't want to use, I would rather, we were getting a 5-to-1 return on every dollar I'd put into the marketing machine. So even personally, I barely took anything out because we were growing so fast and it was just like a slot machine at 5-to-1. So for her, and I don't know if I paid interest or not, probably, she was cool with the monthly payment. So yeah, I did it that way, but how I came up with how I negotiate and how I did the deal, I sat with like a notepad, came in for the first time, met her, saw her spa, saw the equipment, saw her database with the clients, saw her revenue. And I just took one piece of paper and I just know the numbers so well. I took a calculator and a piece of paper and I just crunched numbers real quick. And I knew what it would bring in for me and just offered her a price, right? You kind of start low and go from there.
Yeah. Did you have to do anything with this client list? Like say, it sounds like you are like to be on the high end of the prices because that gives you more margin. Did you have to do anything there, move the prices up?
They were priced. She was priced pretty close to me. So, I forgot this part. In hindsight, the bummer was I would have taken her whole thing over. We built out from scratch and it cost like so much money. God, it was like 90K. I was like, dang it. If I knew she was going to close down 2 months prior, right? I wouldn't have built one, but yeah, you don't know that. Yeah. When it happens. But yeah, her pricing was very close to ours. Again, I'll just grandfather people in. I'm not going to piss anybody off. I want to keep them. And then we'd sell other services. We cross sell, right? Because she only offered like sauna, massage, body wraps. We brought in body wraps to my spa, an additional service. Don't fix what's not broken. Don't rock the boat, keep the salaries the same and the people coming over or even increase them, to match everybody else.
Yeah. Did you fire anybody? I mean, I was like, just like taking, I don't want to date this, but Elon takes over Twitter and just lops off the head. 3 executives right off the top. Did you have to fire anybody? Let them go?
Oh, the cleaning company, like I said, the
manager, both of them. Yeah, either one.
Yeah, the cleaning company manager for sure within like a month. It was not good. So that was fast. The others, I don't think so. No, I don't know if any quit. We have an amazing team, an amazing culture, right? And I'm easygoing as a boss and, everybody's type A, everybody loves to like be surrounded by type A people, right? That are just working so hard. And happy clients, great clients. I have like a no a-hole rule. So, and my team knows if anybody's an a-hole, like they're out as a client. And I'll tell them, I'll just say like, hey, I'm sorry, this isn't a fit, but there's another great spa over here. And my client and my team appreciates that, right? Like, I don't want them to deal with any headaches.
Yeah. Who are you going to for advice? Like somebody, advisors or mentors?
Yeah, no, great question. Henry Evans, who's local in San Diego, is like a dear mentor of mine. He was the leader of the GKIC group, which is Dan Kennedy, big marketer.
Yeah, Russell Brunson just bought it.
I know, I saw that. And Dan went on for an interview. I was so excited to see Dan again on stage. So Henry Evans kind of, started that chapter here, and he's marketing genius, sales genius. Just, we became close friends. He's mentored me right after the cleaning company. So 12 years so far. Yeah. Invested.
Is that a formal relationship? Like you pay him or just a friends kind of?
No, I'm in his mastermind, so I pay for that.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've given him equity. I've done different things with him on different companies, right? So sometimes I'll do hard money, promissory note with interest, and then or a little piece of equity. In the spas that I flipped, he got a good paycheck. I didn't know that I'd flip them so quick, and one for triple what I paid. So he got a good check on that one. So sometimes, I'll give him equity because again, he helps. Like I would never be able to grow these that fast without him mentoring. Yeah.
How do you go to him? Do you call him just any time with a problem, or do you have a set time? Or
I know right now things again, I like, not that I'm saying I outgrew him, but yeah, I'm kind of like, don't need mentoring currently. I think because I'm back in startup phase with the brokerage firm and it's all kind of handled. I know what I need to do. I don't really need that coaching. So yeah, I kind of go on YouTube now and follow, I watch
What
your
everybody
show.
else is doing. Yeah, like Cody Sanchez, everything else. Yeah.
Yeah. I love watching like Alex Hormozy. I'm a big fan of his stuff right now. So yeah, I want to still learn, but I don't necessarily need coaching or consulting currently, but that could change.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you say you're a type A personality? Are you setting goals? Say, hey, I want this kind of income or this lifestyle or
For me personally, or as a company?
both. I mean,
Okay, the spa was insane. So we use Trello as like our project management software. It's super easy to use. I've used it for years and a 10-year-old couldn't use it. So on Trello, so we had a monthly goal, right? We had an annual goal, which I distilled to a monthly goal, which I distilled weekly, and then down to the day, to the hour. So like we'd have a daily goal, right, to hit our monthly, which fluctuated based on how much sales we did each day. So it would change. I'd calculate it first thing in the morning, every morning. I throw it on Trello. My team sees it. And I'm like, hey, this is what we got to hit today. And all the team members every few hours will like update it, right? They'll pull a report out of the software and they'll update where we're at. And we just push so hard. We had these like super goals. We'd set some months and I would take them all to the whole team to La Costa Spa if we hit it. Just these massive stretch goals. They broke 100K the month I was in Europe. This was towards the end. I was in Europe. They never called me. They never bothered me. This is my first vacation in like 5 years. And they broke the 100K mark. So they had their biggest, that's like a very big number we wanted to hit. They broke it without me there. So that was the point where I'm like, okay, they don't need me anymore. I was sad, I'm like, oh, I'm not needed really anymore. There's 3 managers in place. They got it. So that's when I was like, okay, I'm ready to sell.
how are they compensated? They compensated financially on that or?
Yeah, they're hourly plus commission. So yeah, so they were paid really well and they got bonuses and we would do all sorts of fun stuff. But we had a big lawsuit I was in the middle of for a year and a half. So I couldn't list it yet. I had to wait for that to be done. So I couldn't list it until 6 months later.
So what happened there? What was the lawsuit about?
That's a crazy one. I'll tell that story real quick. $1.2 million. Somebody, he was in a wheelchair.
What was that again? $42 million?
What? No. 44. The magic number, 44 billion. Elon. So it was 1.2 million.
Okay.
And he came around 2 years later, and yours truly had thrown out the consent form with the signature already, right? I don't hold paperwork like I'm supposed to. And so he was in a wheelchair. He went to use the infrared sauna. He sat on the floor of the sauna instead of the bench, and he burned his butt. This is a true story. $100,000 worth of skin grafting he had done. Because again, he was paralyzed from the waist down. He didn't feel it.
Yeah, I guess yeah.
And it was when this came up, they're like, oh, is this fake law? I'm like, I don't know. I believe it. He's never sued before. He works at Kaiser. He's in a wheelchair. I just knew it was legit. And my lawyer got the pictures of the skin grafting. And I said, I don't want to see him. Like, don't. He still emailed. I still to this day haven't opened it. A couple of friends just the look on my friend's face when they opened it. I was like, I don't need to see that. It was mediation. It was insane. Like it was stressful. And at the same time, I've got to be motivated. I got to be happy. My team couldn't know. So that, Farmers, thank God I had amazing insurance with Farmers and they cut a check for 600K.
Yeah.
And we didn't go to trial.
Yeah. It is when you're seeking advice about this, do you used to go back to the GKIC guy, Henry Evans, or is that a different person?
What did I do? I don't know.
Because I have a lawyer. You have a different, like somebody that's wise and has been through rough waters before. Tell you like
I had other mentors and colleagues, friends. I'm around a lot of entrepreneurs, and even back then. So yeah, I talked to some. I don't think Henry's never had a lawsuit on a business. So I went to the ones that had big lawsuits, and they kind of coached me through it. And you can't worry. It is what it is. So luckily it is like, I just can control how I react to it. It is what it is. Am I going to get stressed in I'm just going to concentrate on growing the company and it'll sort itself out. is it the deposition, the one where they like interrogate you pretty much? I don't know. Yeah, I think it's called deposition. That was the hardest thing I've ever done. That was like 8 hours straight of just an attorney grilling me, how horrible of a business owner I am, et cetera, et cetera. How did you let this happen? So yeah, but farmers save the day. Woof.
Yeah. Well, that's why you have insurance. But and you sold that one through a broker, or how'd that happen?
No, I did that one. Yeah. And like, that was the story where I talked to my first broker. I talked to another broker. They both were coming in way less. And so I was like, I know I could do this on my own. I know I could get this much. I priced it high because I left room to negotiate. And so, but I still remember where I was sitting when I got the email, when it was a 5 weeks later, it was full. I only had 3 meetings with 3 sellers. So I put the ad on BizBuySell. Let me mention that. Right. Because that's what a lot of people do. So that's what I did. BizBuySell, spent probably 2 days writing the copy on the ad. So it was super descriptive. I did a full pitch deck. People, when they sell their company or when they're raising capital, they do this fancy pitch deck. For some reason, I was like, why aren't people doing this when they sell their company? People are visual. So I sat with the husband and wife, and I ran through it on a Sunday. And then they came into the spa as like clients. And then, yeah, full price. So that was a 4.7 multiple, which should have been like 2 to 3. And I didn't get to negotiate. So part of me was like, oh, bummer. So, and then, I told the brokers, this is what I got.
Fantastic. Yeah. And you got a little bit more money. Then you got into spas.
No, that was my spa.
That was your spas. Okay. So how did you decide to get into being a broker?
So I saw how bad the industry is and I was doing my own deals, right? I've done all my own deals except the first. So a couple of girlfriends, one was doing like 25 million a year, had the company for 20 years. And she's like, hey, Christine, can you just help me?
Who was that? Somebody who was doing 25 million a year?
Yeah. I can't say which company, but staffing firm, large staffing firm. And so she, and she's a friend of mine. She's like, hey, can I just pay you to consult? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I love this stuff. So I was actually writing all the negotiation emails and stuff. She was negotiating in person, but I was coaching her through it. And then I was writing all the emails with the acquirer. So it was a huge company acquisition. So I'd write all the emails and then she'd put her name on it and send them. So I was kind of behind the scenes on that one. And then my next friend, she, another friend, like mutual friend, was like, oh my God, help me sell my company. So I did that. And then a third friend at brunch was like, I'm closing my business down. I was like, Sarah, you've had it 20 years. It's a PR firm. She's like, yeah, but I'm losing clients. I'm too busy doing something else. I'm just going to shut it down. I was like, no, let's list it. She's like, well, if I get 150K, I'm happy. I was like, let's list it for 300. So she got 300 cash. And she's
happy. And how much did she, 10% or 20%?
On that deal, I was 30. I got like 40, I think. So more was at 12%. On that deal, but I was charging hourly as a consultant, but it racked up. Yeah. I didn't do percentage on any of these deals. I was doing hourly, but the hourly racked up. I mean, most of those were pretty much the same percentage. And then, I was like, let me make this official. What do I need? Turns out you only need your real estate license in California, which blew my mind. It's so weird. And I've had it for 22 years. I had it. I don't use it. I kept it active. Thank God. So we were off to the races last October. We closed 5 transactions in freaking December.
So this is, by the way, this is called the Magnolia firm.co. Why was it called the Magnolia firm?
Because my first spa, I was the second choice of name for my spa. Instead it was Eco Chateau, but my second favorite was the Magnolia House. So I finally got to use it all these years later. I know, is that funny?
Yeah. I like where people get their names. And how did you find these businesses to sell?
We're getting a lot of leads from MicroAcquire, and I know you had Andrew on, and they're amazing. I love them. It's a great platform. I love what they're doing because somebody.
How are you getting these leads from MicroAcquire?
Because there's a directory of advisors. So I had to do a bunch of paperwork in February, application, they check references, like they want really great advisors in their directory. So there's a directory. So I have a profile there. It shows how many deals I've closed. So yeah, we're getting a lot from there. A lot of women, I think, because I'm female, mostly my clients were all women in the beginning. And then now, and our marketing it said females all over our website. And then guys were like, well, I want you to help me sell my company too. And I don't discriminate. So I was like, okay. So we stripped off female across the board. I mean, it's a fact is that men have larger companies right now to exit, but women were starting companies, more than men a few years back. So they'll exit down the road. Yeah. The bigger going up market, when we're at the 3 million, purchase prices now, those are usually led by men. And all our buyers, I was telling you earlier, they're 95% of our buyers are men too.
So you did 5 transactions in December?
We closed. Yeah. One of them was my own. One of them was the spa I picked up in COVID, and it closed last. Thank God. I just wanted the other 4 to go through, right? Boom, 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 boom. And then mine was on the 27th, 2 days after Christmas. So it was a good Christmas.
Yeah. How are you? I mean, these people that come to you through micro-acquire, and they're a lot of tech firms. I see some e-commerce companies and stuff. How are you seeing that different from your service-based businesses, cleaning, wellness, the spas?
Yeah, because we did a few brick and mortars locally. And so we did 3. And like, it's just a different beast. And again, I'm used to selling those. So it was, but it doesn't make sense when we could work internationally right now. We have a tech company, a great company in Romania. I just got back from Europe. I went and visited them in person even. And so we can work virtually. It's more, the multiples are higher. It's easier. And I've done software too. So I have that background in SaaS. Because I had a software company too. That was the last one. That was the most stressful one. So I know that industry really well. E-com, we have one e-com right now. I've never had an e-com business myself. So those get a little trickier. There's different nuances. But we're bringing on a managing partner, and he knows e-com really well. So yeah, right now I'm just being picky. We have a wait list. We've had a wait list.
A wait list, a list. Yeah.
Yes, it's insane right now. It's such a seller's market. We've had our fastest close is 1 day flat, which is insane.
So you got this, somebody called you from micro-acquire, you listed it for some number, and a day later it sells.
Well, we found the buyer. She was listed 3 months, but we found the buyer in the morning, and we got him to do due diligence the same day and then wire the money the very next morning. That was like the fastest from, LOI to close, money in the bank. We've had others where we took them to market and we've closed so listing to close 21 days. We've done that twice. Again, these are small, like keep in mind, these are 300 to 500K purchase prices. These are cash. People are pulling home equity lines. People are pulling from their 401K with the ROBs. People pulled out of crypto before it crashed in stock market. So it's just really busy. Those are volatile investments. And that's when buying businesses is more stable. So people will actually, during the bad times, is what I hear from other brokers. They said 08, 09 were like their best years.
Yeah. Where are you getting the buyers? How are they finding your sites? I mean, the reason I'm asking is that there's so many people coming in the market trying to sell businesses, micro-acquire, Flippa, and Latonas to FE International. There's a ton of them out there.
Yeah, a Deal Maven. You should bring Raleigh on. He just launched like a couple months ago. It's called Deal Maven.
Just talked to him 2 days ago.
Okay, cool. No, he's rad. So we're on there. I know he's just starting out. So we're on that platform. We're on Flippa. They take a massive commission. So I'm always kind of going back and forth. I won't put my listings on there unless like we're a couple months in and for some reason it's not getting enough action. I'll put it over there. That 1 day close was from Flippa, so it's not that bad of a platform, right?
They have 18,000 buyers.
Yeah, no, I was watching your interview with the CEO. That's insane.
What's a massive commission? Because I sold a site on Empire Flippers, and they took a massive commission.
Oh, they do. They take 15%. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So
I sold it within 48 hours. Kind of like I listed it and it sold. And I go, man, should I have probably charged more for that? Yes. Yeah.
Wow. And then do they do the entire process for you though? Like LOI, purchase agreement, da, da, da.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, they had enough history to understand what the valuation is of a business. And, everybody asked me about this. They asked, there's this one intangible, like how many hours do you spend on it? And if you say 60 or 40, it's not a business they want. If you say 4 hours a week, it's a business that's going to sell fast.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. A lot of ours, these owners are genuinely only working 10 hours a week, like genuinely, if even that. So that you're right. That makes it easier to sell. It makes it easier for the owner to ride off to the sunset. I don't like to do earnouts. I don't like to do seller carry. It's very rare, at most 20% down. Again, because we're getting multiple offers, right? One came off Empire Flippers. She got locked in this 6-month thing. They wanted 15% and never sold. That's the one we sold within 21 days. So she was like, oh my God, what was I doing with the Empire Flippers? So yeah, I mean, we had 6 offers on that 300K PR firm that she was going to close down. 6 offers. I had to kind of battle against each other for 2 weeks straight, and everybody kept outbidding each other. And then it was acquired by a larger PR firm. So yeah,
she's your best friend.
I know, right? She's like very happy, and we have amazing testimonials on our website, and I'm super grateful for that. And
where is the traffic coming from?
Yes. So my sellers are now, we didn't turn on we're too busy to even spend, right? I was like, why would we turn on marketing quite yet? Which sucks because I'm such a marketer. So now we're starting to turn on. We turn on social media now. I think we got some Google AdWords running. We get word of mouth, so we get referrals. We just got a client because we did outreach trying to sell another company. And she goes, no, I'm not interested, but hey, I want to sell my company. And that was through LinkedIn. So yeah, I don't want to like depend on one source. Microacquire offers, they're doing them now for 5%, and we're charging 12 to 15%. So yeah, which is fine. They're still sending leads. It kind of slowed down, but now they're overwhelmed and we're overwhelmed.
Yeah, he's getting massive. Do you owe him anything if the lead comes from you as a advisor?
10% of my commission, which is super fair. Flippa wants 4% of the purchase price just to bring the buyer through. I negotiated down, and again, our commissions are so high already. We're expensive, right? So it becomes a big amount for them. And then we got it down to 2%. So we're like on a higher tier. Off purchase
so
price.
You negotiated with Blake at Flippa?
With Amber, who's been there for 7 years. She's awesome. She's our rep. Shout out to Amber. Yeah. So different sources. So again, Microacquire, if they bring the buyer, it's free. So you talk to them, right? So they're making their money on buyers paying a subscription.
Yeah, it's buyers pay $299 and they
it's $399. Yeah. So down the road, I'm sure they're going to start charging more, whatnot. And that's fine too, but we're grateful. They send great leads. A lot of them we have to turn down, but it's because again, we're being so picky, which I'm grateful for, but yeah.
And so what do you do when you see these companies that come to you? I don't know. Do you know Marty Funky?
The name sounds super familiar. Is he in Epic also?
He's in Epic, and he's also one of you for Andrew Gadzecki. He's another advisor. Yeah,
I heard good things about
advisor. So he takes a look at these companies and go, well, you need to make this sellable, you need to do this, this, and this, and we'll help you market.
Interesting. Yeah, we're just taking them and we're fixing them as we go because I'm getting real-time feedback. So I priced it appropriately, a little high, most of them actually, based on where they stand right now. A lot of the ones we're working with, these are people in their 30s. They're young, right? This is their first exit. They've had the company for 6 years. So they want to sell now. Okay. Entrepreneurs didn't do, everybody gives a hard time about an exit strategy. Oh, you should have done an exit strategy the last 6 months. Us entrepreneurs started our business overnight. There was no planning strategy, right? So are they really going to do that? No. They come to me. They're like, we want to sell right now. I'm like, okay, then we'll get you listed within 3, we could get them listed, build everything out within 2 to 3 weeks. No, 10 days. It's crazy. The deck, everything, data room, financials, all that we put together for them. I have an amazing team, so I don't want to take the credit. And then we hit the ground. We're fixing the company as we go. It's because I'm getting real-time feedback with the objections, right? The buyer's like, oh, they don't have a biz dev person in place. They don't, and then we put the biz dev person in. Oh, the CEO is doing too much of the work. So then we start taking them off their plate and give it to somebody else. Oh my God, the owner, the company's wrapped around the owner. Those are the ones I like a challenge. So I've done a few of those already, but we're stripping the owner's face, the owner's face is all over the website and everywhere. And I'm like, we got to strip it off. Like the company's wrapped around you and you're not staying. So
yeah. And those personality ones, they have high margins, but you got to extricate yourself from that picture.
Yeah, or it's not sellable at all. Or we got people that are selling software that dumped so much money in and they didn't hit revenue and they want to sell and they want to get what they dumped in 80K to build an app and they're like, well, I want to sell for 80. And I'm like, I don't know.
What's your argument there when you have these discussions? Because, oh man, I put 3 years of coding there. Yeah, I don't care. Yeah. No, neither will a seller. Or buyer.
Yeah. No, they're usually not. It's going to shortcut, the time and the money it took to do that, but you're never going to get what you put into that, right? Especially if you're not at revenue. We won't ever touch a zero revenue. We need at least 200K net profit for us to even consider a listing, right?
Yeah.
And then usually we get about a 3X, so usually we can list, 2.5, 3X, depends on the company, on the net. So yeah, that's a bare minimum. I know it's like you tell their baby that Andrew said it too in his interview. I laughed because that's how I feel. It's like you just told their baby is ugly.
Ugly baby, really ugly.
Yeah, right. And I try to be very nice about it. So we just turn them down real quick.
Yeah. Are you getting leads, any listings from other places?
Yeah, BizBuySell, and this is a fun fact, interesting fact, all our buyers, I'd say 90% are coming off BizBuySell. And I know a lot of advisors, people could look down on that platform. I love it. And
I don't know if you noticed, they used to have prices ranging from, $20,000, a franchise doing zero to, $10,000 to $50 million. Now that the filter just shows 3 million top line.
Oh, that's the biggest company you could sell. Yeah. I know. Yeah, that's true. Is it 3 though? Because I have a 3.2 on there right now.
Well, that's just the filter. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Oh gosh. Well, that's not good. Yeah. So buyer, and then my big spot I sold was off BizBuySell. So I'm a massive fan of that platform for buyers. That's where we're getting the buyers. One came off Flippa. Microacquire, I don't think we've gotten a buyer yet from there. Some great potentials, but yeah, we do a lot of pre-qual. We have a whole automation. We have CRM. We have digital NDA that kicks the CIM like automatically. So we've built a lot of automations out. Yeah. So that's the other reason why we can do more listings and more sales and flip them quickly.
Well, so what's your plan for this? Do you like it so much they're going to keep doing it for another 3-5 years, or keep it this time, or flip it?
I never can answer that question, but just by chance, it's usually a 5-year. It seems to be like that's how long it takes me to build, systematize. Everything's managers are in place. I'm not needed. It usually is a 5-year mark, but I never plan on if it's fun, I'm going to keep doing it. And so right now, and we haven't really announced this yet, and it's almost official. I want to scale really big. When I build something, I want to be the biggest cleaning company in San Diego. I want to be the biggest spa in San Diego, which happened. I go big, but this time around, I was like, oh, I'm exhausted. I've been an entrepreneur for 18 years, 19 years. I go, I'm only going to do it if I bring in a great partner, and then we could go really big, really fast. This market's wide open for innovation. And so, right now we're doing business dating. That was his term. I love it. Right. So it's a couple months. He's in my firm. He's working for free and making sure we work really well together. And then we'll have an operating agreement and all that fun stuff soon. But yeah, we can really blow it up. He's great at operations. He's great at tech systems. And I'm the sales and marketing. So it's a good kind of pairing. I'm really excited about. So yeah, we're going to go real big. We already have international listings. So
how did you know what you are missing or you're not good at to be able to turn it over to somebody else?
Yeah, because I've had partners before so I'm always on the fence, right? Because the exits I had that were the biggest, I didn't have partners. So I could do all that, and I could hire someone to build out automations,
Right.
I can manage a team. I could put a manager in place to do the operations, like a COO. So Yeah, in this case, again, in this case, I was like, this makes more sense for me. I could do it all, right? But I'm like pretty tired. I don't want to work those 80-hour weeks anymore. I've done it enough years. I'm down to 20 to 30 right now, which is nice, right? That's what I want at this point in life. So yeah, and he kind of has the same ethos of like travel and, not working like this hustle, the hustle mentality, you need that in the beginning. But after a while, you're like, okay, like time out. So
Yeah. So what do you do with the rest of the hours in your day? You're only doing work at 20. Yeah.
Where are you located at?
I'm in Tucson, Arizona.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I live in San Diego. So it's like, go for a walk around the beach, it's work out, it's, hang out with friends, happy hour. I mean, all the stuff that I didn't do for so many years. I mean, I didn't take a vacation for years, didn't date for years. I've been working since I was 11 years old, which is pretty crazy without really a break at all. My dad had his own company and I would be the little secretary answering the phone when I was 11. So I've been working since then, right? And I love it. I love business.
What kind of company was that?
That was HVAC, which is crazy. HVAC's so hot right now. That's why I was like, oh, so
hugely hot.
It's crazy the roll-ups in that sector.
Yeah. I love telling the story of HVACs because there's a buddy I know that owns a whole bunch of HVACs. He's funded by a private equity firm. And he goes, look, these guys that just come out of high school, don't go to college, I'm making them multimillionaires.
Because he's rolling up their companies.
He'll buy them for $15 or $25 million that they've owned for 15, 20 years. I make them multimillionaires, and they're just usually military guys or just high school graduates. They're no college graduates.
Yeah, no, and that was my father, right? He barely graduated high school and he, for 20 years, he still climbed on the roofs. He loved it. And it was in Lancaster. I mean, it gets 120 out there. So at 11, I would get people cussing me out because there's no air conditioning. It's 120 out. And my dad would grab the phone. He's like, do you know you're cussing out an 11-year-old? And I had this like voice, and to this day, everybody calls it, Christine's phone voice, because my voice will change when I'm on the phone, right? Like more professional, more older to this day, right? And the
reason I was asking, like, what do you do the other time? I was talking about the Tim Ferriss, where he forced himself, like, I'm working too much. I'm going to focus on my life, which makes me focus on putting the right people in the right spots to run the business.
That's my all-time favorite book. That changed my life. That book, when it came out in 2010, I think it came out. Yeah, the 4-Hour Work Week. That changed everything for me. I left for Thailand. I was running my cleaning company, worked insane hours, but I had a manager. I was micromanaging her like crazy. I feel so bad for her in hindsight. I do not micromanage anymore. So I left for Thailand for 2 weeks. I was 25, never left the country after reading that book, because he had that list of countries that were least expensive to travel to. And again, you got to step out of your business. You can't be in the mix. You can't work in it. You got to work on it. Like Michael Gerber teaches too. So I'm a massive Tim. Yeah, that book changed my life for everything. I just got back from Europe this week. So I was in Europe for 2 weeks.
Where'd you go?
I was working a little. My team was like, man, you were working a lot. I thought I wasn't working much. I don't know how much I was working, maybe like 2 or 3 hours a day. I went to Croatia. I went to Romania. I stopped over there to visit my clients that are there. So that was fun. And then went to Turkey. So Istanbul and Izmir. And those were 3 countries I hadn't hit yet. There's
a business over in Croatia. Would you sell something over there?
Yeah, if the margins are good, but it is a struggle. So even this one, right? It's going to be a US buyer, I know for sure, but there's a little bit of hesitation about it being Romanian company. But everybody outsources to Romanians already. So, and they're the workhorses behind. They do mobile app advertising. And so, yeah, if anybody listening wants info, let me know. But they work directly with the large agencies. 70% of their clients in the US. They got clients in UK, Dubai, around the world. No clients in Romania. So it's going to be a great, that's an acquisition without a doubt. That's a big agency that's going to grab them and roll them in because it's strictly mobile.
Yeah, their risks are mitigated. I mean, they can control those, but
yeah,
you can't have some guy over here in the United States just go, oh yeah, I'll just hire all the programmers and take this $1 million business in Croatia and not know anything about the landscape of, employees in Croatia.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But again, a lot of companies outsource already, right?
Yeah.
So, they're loyal. They've had a team forever. So it's like you're buying the infrastructure. They've got some proprietary tech. They're building more. So yeah, it's a great company. And the founders are really cool. So they're going to go, again, in their 30s. They're going to go on to Web3 and NFT and crypto, right? So we got 3 listings right now where they're younger, guys in their 30s, co-founders, and they're ready to go into that world. Yeah. It's getting popular right now.
So I'm looking at your site right now. What's the coming soon mean? Profitable premium activewear. You're doing some pre-ads on this?
We have, yeah, we have signed agreements with them, engagement agreements. So, but again, we need 10 days to like launch each one. But they're on the wait list, but they've already paid. So I was like, hey, Lauren, put those up as like a teaser, because we don't have the valuation exactly dialed in on one of them. Like we were writing the ad copy. So I was like, just a little teaser on both of them. Cause people go to our website.
Yeah. And what about this top rated subscription box in men's niche?
Subscription box are so hot right now. We sold 2 or 3 back to back super fast. It's really hot. Reason being, it's recurring revenue, right? You've got that recurring revenue model. You can work from home or anywhere in the world. You could just have a fulfillment center doing the fulfillment. Some of these owners were doing it at their home to save money. And they were already one was netting like $170K a year. And so they still were doing, her poor husband was doing it actually. So they're hot right now for some reason, but that's the first men's. Those were female ones. This is the first men's one we're doing. They get a lot of product donated to them. So their cost of goods is like nothing, right? Because they want to get those companies want to get the product in the hands of guys. And so they're getting a lot of it donated into those boxes. Yeah. So
this one I'm looking at right now, the customer support consulting agency. How is that sold to somebody new? Is that big enough that the owner's not involved? And
we just listed 2 weeks and we already have 1 LOI. The deadline, we extended the deadline from today to Monday because we have so much action on it and everybody's in the data room and everybody's trying to rush looking at the financials and everything. And we provide a lot of due diligence up front, which is rare. Just everything transparent so they can write an LOI that's strong and they're comfortable with, and then it makes the DD process easier. So that one we listed 2 weeks ago. The owner is staying on, which is super rare, and he's amazing. So he's staying on the team.
Why does he want to stay on?
He has a full-time job, and he's doing this about 20 hours a week. He just, this is the number one reason, like most our listings, like I said earlier, they just don't have the skill set to take it. They took it to this point. They did the startup part from the ground up, and now they're stuck, right? They kind of topped out because they need a different skill set to take it from there to the next level. And, 5-6 years in business, again, young, people, we get bored. We just do the next thing. So yeah, that's very rare that an owner will stay on as the operator, right?
Definitely.
Yeah,
I was tempted
to grab that one.
Are they all, you talked about that earlier, all cash offers, or are some of them contingent upon financing?
Yeah, when you're at the 300 to 500K mark, it's all cash. Again, they're coming in with cash because there's multiple offers, and I'm kind of like upfront, like, hey, we got multiple offers coming in, full price, all cash right now on the table. Like, yeah, you got to be at least there. We have one. It's $1 million listing that just went under LOI last week, and they're doing SBA, which that's the first one. I always try to talk people out of it. My spa was an SBA loan, took 3.5 months. It just takes forever, and they just they'll rip everything apart. So yeah,
I call it a financial proctology.
It totally is.
That wasn't pleasant. And then told that even with your credit score at that time, 850, and I had the financial position. He goes, "Oh, you're just not strong enough." It's a $2 million business. So I had to bring somebody on.
Oh man. And it's funny because they base it more on the individual than the company necessarily. The company's
he's like, wait a minute. I thought the business was buying the business.
Yeah, because
it's you need to be already strong enough just in case. Like, well, how is that going to happen? I mean, I'm going to pay off the loan
The dirty little secret that a lot of people don't know, and I didn't even know until I went to the conference, the international conference for business brokers, is that we get 2% of that loan. If I say, hey, let's do an SBA loan, buyer, and like I've got a great banker, like let's use him, we're getting 2% of the actual loan amount on top of like our other commission. And so, and again, I'm still turning people. I don't want to deal with. I don't want my seller to deal with.
Takes longer. It just takes too long.
Takes way too long. I just don't, especially in this market. It's just not, it's too fast paced, and time kills deals. That's my favorite saying. Like we got to run. I had one seller that was just so stressed out during due diligence. We were going to close in 3 days. And she's like, I need to take a personal day. I was like, you can't take a personal day. Like you could take unlimited personal days in 3 days. Like we have to close and we have to wrap this up because there could be any sort of war, 9/11. I mean, I can name a million things, maybe the buyer gets super ill. Like the deal could blow up at the last minute. Thank God all of ours are gone through from LOI all the way to the end, because I'm just pushing and pushing, and like, yeah. So I'm relentless. I act like something's going to happen the next day. Right. It's weird.
I think you have an A-type personality.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Well, that's very cool. And we've already hit an hour on this. So Christine, thank you so much for being on Top M&A Entrepreneurs.
Thanks, Jon, for having me. I appreciate it. That was fun.
Yeah. Well, good deal. Let me stop the pod. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure you're a subscriber by clicking on this button right here down below. And if you want to watch more serial acquirer interviews, click on this button right here. If you're ready to buy your first business, get my course at dealflowsystem.net right here. Take care. Cheers, Jon.